Hello, team. John Coelho here, and we have one more episode of Creative English. We are taking a quick break from the grammar review. Uh, I was very excited for this series, That 90s Show. Hello, Wisconsin! And it was very fun. It did not disappoint. It was great seeing the gang back with the younger generation. But this class is a conversational class. Since last week we spoke about the past, I needed to give you a chance to use it. So here we're talking about the 90s, whether you're older and can remember it, or you're younger and just have heard of it. It does not matter. It's just to bring your thoughts to the table about these years. For my Brazilian students, when we say the 90s, we mean from 1990 to 1999, the 90s years. So now we're in 2023, we would say the 2020s, from 2020 to 2029. So introduction, like always. Quick warm-up, do some brainstorming. What do you imagine when you think of the 90s? And here, I brought some pictures. And for me, in the 90s, I was a kid, and I've seen some of the cartoons nowadays, and I'm sorry, guys, you lose. The 90s cartoons were just better. Whether it's the action heroes with X-Men and Batman, all that good stuff, whether it's the fun cartoons like we had the Giant Bravo, the Ed, Ed and Eddie, Courage the Cowardly Dog on Cartoon Network. And, Nick had a bunch of great cartoons as well. SpongeBob came from the 90s. South Park for the adult cartoons. So we have a lot of good options. Anime, Goku, Yu Yu Hakusho. The 90s cartoons were the best. Let me see what else we've got. Some other pictures. I'm not going to give you any answers. Writing a letter. I know a lot of adults who have never written a letter. Here in Brazil, we used MSN and ICQ. In the United States, it was AIM, the first popular messaging service to market. Tamagotchis. Did you allow yours to die all the time, or were you a good Tamagotchi parent? I'm not going to tell you what these are. I have some younger students, and they were guessing what this is for, and I felt so old. They were so wrong. No, figure it out. Figure out what these are. If you don't know, ask your parents. They'll tell you. The movies. Oh my God, the 90s had some of the best movies ever. We have Fight Club over here, The Matrix. The Big Lebowski is not on this list, but it should be. There's a little bit of for everybody. Forrest Gump, legendary. This one's the highest rated. Shawshank Redemption's the highest rated movie, I think, on IMDb. A couple different pictures, the styles, the music, the movie rentals. Does anybody recognize this car chase? So these are just some pictures. The whole point is to get you talking. If you remember it, if you have any good stories, if you have any curiosities, maybe you don't recognize some of this, that's the point of that exercise. Over here, objective 2, 90s slang. We have this list here with a bunch of 90s vocab. A lot of words we still use today, others not so much. But trust your ear. If you've heard it, there's a good chance we still use it. If you haven't, maybe we don't. But remember, what's most important is whatever you feel comfortable with. So that is the number one criteria for whether you should or shouldn't use an expression. Here we have our conversation starters. Yeah, Super Nintendo, awesome. I might be wrong, but I think the Super Nintendo was the first video game system where you could save. So you didn't have to beat the game in one try. You could save, breathe, go to school, and come back the next day. So I think that was a big deal in the video game world. Let me pick a picture. Pick a question. Let me see. I'm going to go with, what was the best movie of the 90s? I have 2 picks. My favorite movie in the comedy genre is The Big Lebowski. I think it's a unique movie. It kind of starts in the middle of the story, ends in the middle. Amazing actors, amazing lines that are still interesting today. The dude, he's legendary. And for action, it has to be The Matrix. In 1999, The Matrix was a big movie. I actually did not watch it in theaters. I watched it after but I think it inspired a lot of science fiction that we see today. And it's, Keanu Reeves is awesome. Can't wait for the next John Wick. Vocab, totally was like the literally of the 90s, where we use it to make things strong. It's totally awesome. It's totally amazing. We have Y2K, the Millennium Bug, if you want to learn a little bit more. Fly, extreme, gnarly, awesome. These are just different ways of saying that something was cool, something was great. You can pick your favorite. Baggy, this is an interesting one. Nowadays, I think we use more form-fitting clothes. But when clothes are baggy, it means they're loose. I remember in the 90s, the pants. You could make like 3 pants from 1 pants. They were huge. The legs, couldn't even tell where the body was. They were so baggy. So that's your vocab. And last up, please leave your message after the beep. If you haven't ever left an answering, if you haven't ever made an answering machine message, you've at least seen one in a movie. That is your challenge. Record an answering machine message. Use those 90s vocab that we saw in the activity above, and that's it. Team, next week we will be finishing off our, I'm not going to say finishing, but we will be completing our trio of grammar review classes. So take advantage of it, have some fun, reminisce, feel that nostalgia, and that's it. Let me see if we have anything else. No, that's it. Team, thank you. I will see you in class.